Hey everyone, Coach Mike here with another guided programming question. This one says, when I'm pressing, I'm confident with my setup, but I'm not sure about the execution. I try to replicate my setup exactly, including retracting the scapula. My question is, should the scapula stay retracted on the concentric movement, or should they be released to generate more power? The reason I ask is because I don't feel as strong if I keep them retracted. Technically, it feels more difficult to keep them retracted during the press. Maybe I need more technical practice to get better at this. I just want to be clear about what we're talking about and what we mean when we're saying certain things, because I can see where just kind of talking this through could result in a little weirdness. When you're doing reps especially, so basically the scapula, I mean, it's really difficult, if not impossible, to keep them pinned, especially if the weight gets heavy and like you said, you're requiring that you're generating power and pushing, right? It's easy for them to kind of lose that position, especially when the weight gets heavy and you start arcing the bar path back toward your face like you should. So what you'll notice is that people, when they're pressing heavy, it doesn't go in a straight line. It comes back toward the face a bit and then flattens out. And the elbows generally follow that same sort of bar path. The elbows stay tucked at the bottom, but then the bar path kind of tracks back toward the face a bit, and the elbows flare out to compensate, and then it's a straighter bar path on the way up. So during that process, it's almost impossible to keep your scapula, back and down through that whole process. And if you do, like you notice, you lose a ton of power. We have to lift the weight. You've got to lift the weight, and the heavier the better. So that's going to happen to some degree. And the more pronounced that J arc, the more pronounced that scapular release is going to be. But that's another reason why when you're doing reps, you need to stop and reset at the top. It's important to bring the bar back down to where its start position is going to be and retract your scapula, get everything back in the correct position between each rep. What I don't want to see you do is shrugging your shoulders forward. I don't want to see you doing a lot of weird movements with your shoulders. Your shoulders don't really, that movement doesn't really happen in the bench press. Your shoulders stay pretty much where they are. It's just an articulation of your arm, and your scapula are going to move because of that. Let's make sure that, and it sounds like, you're focusing on the scapula just fine, and this is probably not going to be a point of confusion for you, but it could be a point of confusion for someone else. I'm not talking about hunching your shoulders forward. That's not what I mean. Yeah, so I think that'll cover that question.